So I thought I would share some thoughts around handling release notes in PWAs. Since progressive web apps are distributed on the web, you don't really have control over the exact distribution mechanism. You don't know whether or not somebody is running an older version or newer version, what have you. And there's no like binary releases to an app store where you're like, oh, here's my new bundle, and here's the accompanying notes to go with it that will get shown, in like Google Play Store UI or App Store UI. So um, really, I wanted a way to do this inside the app, so I thought I would just kind of show how I do that. So what I ended up doing for this is just actually putting the notes into the app itself and just choosing some arbitrary period to show and saying like, so I picked the last 30 days. So I show updates within the last 30 days. And of course, if you're running a previous version of the app, you won't see the latest updates. But if you watch some of the other videos, the way that I'm treating this particular application is that it kind of forces you to the latest version unless you're in the middle of actually charting an anesthesia case, which is what this particular PWA is for. But and also, I mean, these notes are fairly extensive because I can't just be like, hey, fixes and changes, because the people are actually using this to chart surgeries. And so they need to kind of know if there's changes to how this stuff works. It's not like social media where if it doesn't work, well, too bad. Like they need to be aware of what's potentially different, right? So I have rather extensive wordy notes here, which may or may not be the right choice, but that's a different conversation. So point is, code wise, this is actually quite simple to do. I put the stuff right in the code itself, and then I just date it, right? So if so I create this object with, these are literally the output of date now from a JavaScript console in a browser at the point where I'm ready to do this. I call date.now and then paste it in here and then start writing some notes, right? And this is obviously just a JSX component. And then I, run a little thing that just one time grab these keys, filter out the ones that are actually older than 30 days based on right now, and then produce, the date and the content, and then just map through them in a component here. So like it's super simple. But I think this accomplishes the goals of this particular process fairly well. It's contextual within the app, right? As you're about to start the new thing, which in my particular case, this kind of made sense. Things will automatically drop off once they're past 30 days, because obviously if you're running this later, this filter is going to filter out anything that's actually older than that. So you won't end up like saying recent changes and then there not actually being anything, which is kind of embarrassing potentially. So, if no recent changes at all are here, like it's just going to show null, right? Which means it won't show anything. So I think this is a useful approach. And since with PWAs, we don't have a traditional release process, I think this is kind of a nice way to mitigate that. So hopefully that helps. Okay, see ya.